If you guys checked out my last video, the Arc Titan puts out a lot of damage. But if you check my comments, some of you guys were struggling completing GMs with that build. That build synergizes well with a crowd control build, and this is the build that you should be using with that build so you guys are able to complete the GMs. That build puts out a lot of damage, and today's build will be able to control all the ads, suspend every single target, and I'm going to show you guys 5 different ways we're able to get Woven Mail, and Woven Mail gives us a nice 60% damage reduction. So we're able to tank everything and just immediately control any ads we walk into, stepping into any room. This build will help you guys clear out all the GMs. Ads should not be a problem with this build because we're able to just crowd control every single thing in the entire room, carrying over with that nice 6% damage buff. Let me show you guys exactly how to do that. The exotic approach will be Abeyant Leap. Abeyant Leap is going to give us the ability to gain Woven Mail from 2 different sources, either by using your Shackle Grenade or just by suspending a target by proccing your Rally Barricade. And Abeyant Leap is going to synergize very well with Jenger's Lash. It's going to spawn 2 additional projectiles. Those projectiles are going to track more aggressively, and you're going to gain Woven Mail by suspending the targets from your Rally Barricade. That's the first way you're gaining Woven Mail, by suspending the targets, and the second way you're gaining it is also by using your Shackle Grenade. The Shackle Grenade suspending those targets will grant you Woven Mail. Even if you use that Shackle Grenade against a boss or a yellow bar that doesn't get suspended, you will still proc Woven Mail and gain a nice 60% damage reduction. Those are the first 2 ways we're gaining Woven Mail. The third way we'll be gaining Woven Mail is by using the fragment Thread of Warding. That means when we pick up an Evorr power, we will be granted Woven Mail. The fourth way we will be gaining Woven Mail is by using the aspect Into the Fray, and once we destroy a tangle, and I'm going to show you guys how to spawn tangles. Once you destroy a tangle, you will be granted a Woven Mail, and the 5th way you will be granted Woven Mail just by popping your super. Popping your super is going to actually grant Woven Mail to you and your nearby allies, and once you have Woven Mail, your melee regeneration rate will be increased. So to spawn tangles, you need to sever any targets, and you need to hit any targets with your strand debuffs. The easiest way to do that with your Titan is just by using your melee frenzied blade. And once you slash and see me debuff those targets will now do less damage, and once we defeat those targets, we will spawn those tangles. And once you do have a tangle, if you throw it at a target and it does hit that target or just gets destroyed in general, it will pulse 3 times, and the pulse that it does 3 times will grant us 30 HP. Now 30 HP doesn't seem like a lot, but a lot of the times any kind of health regen is very imperative for us to survive the activities we're doing. And the GM I just did in Proving Grounds, gaining health back for me was a big issue because with this Titan build, you don't have any ability to really regain health. You're just tanking a lot of ability. You're taking a lot of damage. That's the main purpose of this build. With the 60% damage reduction on top of your 30% damage reduction from using 100 resilience, you will be able to tank a lot of damage. But gaining your health back is another issue, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that. So the other fragments we do have in this build will be Thread of Mind. So when we do defeat those suspended targets, we're going to be granted class ability energy. This is just going to refund into our entire build setup. We want to suspend everything by either using our barricade or by using our Shackle Grenade, and just throw that down and be able to just suspend everything in front of us. The next fragment we do have is Thread of Generation. Thread of Generation is going to make sure that we're able to just regen our grenade consistently. This build even competes with a harder Innermost Light spam because you're able to just get your barricade back that much faster. The last thing we do have, which is Thread of Transmutation. You can always swap out Thread of Transmutation. I was swapping in between Thread of Continuity, but there's a bug going around. Thread of Continuity actually lowers the suspension of targets. So until Bungie fixes that, we can always swap out this last Strand fragment. So right now we do have Thread of Transmutation, and Thread of Transmutation means that anytime you have Woven Mail, your weapon final blows will create a tangle, and that also means that once you do pick up that tangle and destroy it, you are going to be granted Woven Mail again. Those are all the fragments we need, and the 2 aspects we do have for this build will be Into the Fray and Jenger's Lash. Those 2 fragments are the only 2 fragments for Strand right now, and that's how you're able to consistently spam all of your abilities and keep all the enemies suspended. Now jumping into the mods, to get Woven Mail, we do need to get Orbs of Power. To get those Orbs of Power, we're going to be using Commemoration and Wish Ender for this Grandmaster. You can always, the weapon choice varies Grandmaster to Grandmaster or whatever content you're jumping into. Since we are rocking Commemoration heavy, we do have Void Siphon. Void Siphon is going to give us the ability to actually spawn Orbs of Power, and those Orbs of Power will grant us Woven Mail anytime we do pick them up. The other mods we do have are Heavy Ammo Finder and Kinetic Siphon. Just in case we aren't using Commemoration, we can always swap that mod out and actually spawn Orbs of Power 2 different ways. On our gauntlets, we have bolstering detonation, so we're going to be granted class ability energy anytime we suspend targets with our shackle grenade. We're using fastball, so our shackle, you're going to see me throw my shackle grenade across the map. I'm able to do that because of fastball. Fastball increases our grenade throw distance. And then the last thing we do have is momentum transfer. Causing damage with our grenade will reduce our melee cooldown. So every time we do shackle an enemy, we're going to be granted more frenzied blade, and that frenzied blade is going to help us sever targets and proc those tangles we need to get a woven mail. On our chest piece, nothing special. We're just using our regular damage resist, launch, concussive dampener, solar resist, and another solar resist, since I did do a GM with a lot of solar enemies. The next thing we do have on our feet, on our exotic feet, Abiant Leap, we have insulation, so we're going to reduce our class ability cooldown each time we pick up an overpower, and innervation. Innervation is going to give us the ability to reduce our grenade cooldown when we do pick up an overpower, and then better already. This is one of the few ways we're able to actually regen our health. We're going to regen our health every time we pick up an overpower. So this build is ultimately synergizes around us spawning overpower and just picking them up. On our class ability, we have Reaper. Reaper is going to give us the ability to spawn an orb of power once we do pop our barricade, and we're popping our barricade consistently every 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds you're going to have an orb of power to grant you woven mail if you aren't consistently hitting enemies, and once you pick up that overpower, it's just going to gain you health. The last two mobs we do have on our class item will be double bomber, so we're able to reduce our grenade cooldown every time we pop our barricade. This build is an ad control build. This build isn't really for damage. This build you should be combining this build with the other Arc 3.0 Titan build on my channel that gives you a 200% grenade cooldown. If you combine these two builds, you will be able to clear all of the Grandmasters. This build is an ad control heavy specialist. This, in my opinion, is one of the best ad control builds in the game currently. Anything in our way gets suspended. We have the time we need to actually pump out a lot of damage since none of the ads move. And if you combine this build with the blinded grenade launcher, the ad should never be a problem if you're hopping into a Grandmaster or a Master Raid with this build. But keep in mind, this build is not for damage. This build is only for ad control. Ad control when the ads are very heavy. So going into your Grandmasters or even your Master Raid, you should have somebody on a build like this, or just an ad control build similar to this, so the ads will never be a problem. And then the other build I posted on my channel, the Arc 3.0 Titan, if you combine these two builds, you have one person that can control the ads, and then you have another person who can consistently pump out high damage. These two builds work very well together, and I hope you guys can use it to clear the GMs. If you guys have any questions, message me on Discord or drop a link, comment in the video, and I'll see you guys next week.